into Race Hub, and as promised, our special guest is finally here. We are so excited to welcome former F1 world champion Jenson Button to the show. Thanks so much for taking time for us.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
It's great to see you, and we understand you have some special news that pertains to NASCAR. You want to share with us what you have going on?
Yes, I mean, it sounds like I'm having a child or something. You have some special news, but I do have some very special news. Yes, I'm going to be racing 3 Cup races this year, starting in COTA.
That'll be awesome.
COTA, Chicago, and then...
I cannot wait. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited and very nervous at the same time.
What are you nervous about?
Right.
It's so different.
Yeah.
It is so different. I've seen so many drivers from my background, you know, racing in Formula One and other things, getting into a cup car, into a stock car, and it's really difficult.
A little overwhelming, right?
It's so different, and you don't get much practice either. But you know, I'm up for a challenge. You know, I've got the utmost respect for everyone I'm going to be racing against, and also the teams that are racing in Cup Series. It's staggering, the competition and the detail they go to be competitive.
Yeah, you're going to have a good team with Rick Ware Racing, who's going to be fielding the car, but they'll have an association with Stuart Haas, and those guys bring really fast cars every week. They got great engineering over there, so I feel like you'll have a good, legitimate shot when you go to these races and run with these Cup guys. And when you finish, I'd be interested to hear just what you think, no, seriously, about the talent level in the Cup Series on these kind of racetracks, because your background goes all through, you know, the top levels of road racing in the world. So
you're saying I have no excuse?
Pretty much.
Maybe so.
Basically. I don't want.
I'd say they're in trouble.
I don't want an excuse, but no, you're right. I'm going to have a great car. I've been doing the seat fit and getting myself comfortable because I'm so used to sitting. I'm lying down.
Laying down, essentially, right?
So suddenly you're upright with a steering wheel here. So we've been adjusting it here and there to get into a position that I like, so I'm comfortable. But yeah, I'm excited to get out there and see the talent. I've watched the races over and over again, especially the road courses, to get an understanding of the drivers and the different styles. And there's a lot of rubbing and tapping and
Also, it's physical.
Physical.
It is physical.
So how did this all come about? What was the motivation for you to want to do this?
Realistically, it started when I left F1, you know, because I left F1 in 2016. I've been racing in F1 for 17 years. The sport I loved, but it got to a point where I wasn't learning anything new. And I wanted to try different things. You know, I think of myself as a racing driver, not just an F1 driver. So I wanted to try other things. I raced in Japan, in Super GT, which is super competitive. I raced at Le Mans. I've done some trophy truck racing. I did Baja, and a few other things. So I would love to try a stock car. And I've watched stock car racing for a couple of decades with my dad. We used to sit down and watch it, and you know, I used to love Dale Earnhardt and obviously Tony, Jeff, Jimmy as well. So and I was also yourself.
Well,
He added that in there. That's
we
good.
paid
That's
Jenson to say that. Ironically, though, I met you. I don't know if you remember this. I met you in Homestead. You were down there. I think the year maybe Jeff retired. I saw you on pit road walking down right before we got in our cars, and there's so many people down there, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it's Jenson. I was so excited because I've been such a fan of yours for so many years growing up watching F1. And then, you know, you were so out of place at a NASCAR event. So it was cool, though, to run into you there. It was fun.
I actually rode a Harley there as well. I was like, I'm going to do it proper.
Wow.
You did everything. That's good, yeah.
And then spent the evening with Jimmy in the bar. So, yeah.
Well, you probably had a headache the next morning then if you stayed with Jimmy. Yeah, absolutely.
Did. I got some great pictures. No, this is such a challenge for me, but it's so exciting because I know the level in the Cup Series. It's staggeringly good.
How'd you go about the 3 tracks you picked? Was that a choice by you? Was that something Mobil One, the three markets they wanted to be in? How do you get those 3 tracks?
I think we all knew that an oval was a bad idea.
Bristol wasn't on your agenda?
Bristol dirt, maybe.
Daytona wasn't there either, to be fair. But I would love to do an oval, but it's another skill set altogether.
Right.
So, as you know, that's something that maybe I could do in the future if I like the car and I like the series. Maybe it's a possibility. Yeah. But this is a bit more in my comfort zone. So, COTA, love the track.
And you have experience there.
Yeah, I've raced there in F1. I mean, it kind of feels like a different track.
Right.
Because they're kind of 40 seconds a lap quicker in an F1 car. But yes, I have an understanding of where the track goes. Indy, I know half the tracks. We raced on it in F1.
Yep.
And Chicago's just
Nobody knows what that's going to bring.
Well, that would, I mean, to me, that would be the most equal you could be on with anybody because no one knows the track. Being a street course is going to be unique. So to me, that would be my favorite if I were you.
Yeah, but going from a car that weighs 1,700 pounds to 3,500 pounds on a street circuit, it wasn't the best first race for me. So it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be a great spectacle. Tough racing on a street circuit, but should be a lot of fun. But no, COTA is the one. It's great to start with that one. I know the track, and now I've just got to learn the way of racing because it's a lot about this and finding your space on track as well as being fast.
So, I'm sure you watched Kimmy, right? I mean, when he ran at Watkins Glen, I thought he did an outstanding job. He got caught up in a little incident, and then it kept him from getting a good result. But that has to be encouraging to see him to be able to come over here with very, very limited practice and to be able to jump in a car and perform.
Yeah, I think Kimmy did a truck race.
He did Charlotte
years ago. Yeah, I think he did a truck race here.
I think it stays in you though. You remember. No, it was great to see and to hear it. A couple of days ago that he was
coming back
to be racing at the same race as me. So I'm going head to head.
You should wreck him. That would be good.
Look at Jamie already stirring the pot. Hey, so you've been a part of the Garage 56 program, and you were over at Hendrick Motorsports recently, seeing the facility for the first time in person. What did you think of it?
Great, and I've been to Stewart House as well, and to see the facilities, it's way beyond what I expected. It really is, and I come from a background of Formula One where they're spending hundreds of millions a year on racing, and they have great facilities. I didn't expect that from stock car racing, but they are. They're really, really impressive, and I know there's a lot of common parts now in the Cup Series, but I think now it's down to the minute details, and these teams are so good at doing that.
The problem was he watched Days of Thunder, and he thought we all had a barn with big long
that barn where you
rolled the car.
You drive on the car, you talk to it.
That's right.
And you're not wrong. I'm from the UK, and when I grew up, we had 4 channels on TV, right? And we didn't have any NASCAR. So the first NASCAR race I watched was Days of Thunder. It was amazing.
Not Talladega Nights.
And now you get to live it.
I was like, this is so cool.
That's amazing.
I was like 9 at the time, and with my dad. So yeah, to actually get the chance to live out that dream is very cool.
I think you're going to be surprised at how well you're going to do because when Juan Pablo was my teammate, I remember asking him, I'm like, what's an F1 car like? And he's like, Jamie, he said, all race cars are the same. When you push it to the limit, it's a little bit loose in, it doesn't turn in the middle, and it has no drive on exit. And he's like, the NASCARs just happen a little bit slower. So to me, it would be easier for all those reaction times to slow down, get in a stock car versus trying to go the other direction.
I disagree.
Oh, boy.
I find it a lot more difficult when you hit the brakes and nothing happens.
That's exactly right.
And then the rear's lock, and then the front's lock, and then it doesn't turn in. So, no, it's going to take a bit of time. And I think patience is the key for me while I'm learning, not to overdrive it and get frustrated. So, yeah, that's the thing. But it's such an exciting challenge, and I really can't wait to go up against the greats of NASCAR.
You mentioned the learning. What have you been doing to prepare? What has the preparation been like so far?
Watch a lot of races.
Okay.
Because the driving part is one thing, and as you said, it's got 4 wheels that touch the ground, and I can get used to that. But it's understanding the racecraft. So watching the races over and over again and understanding each individual driver as well and what they do and how they drive a car, because they're all a little bit different and they're all a bit more, some more aggressive than others. And simulator time, seat fit, spending time with the team. So there's a lot of stuff to do. And I thought I was just going to rock up and drive the car.
You've had some time in the Garage 56 car, though, right? Didn't you guys do a test at maybe, Daytona?
We've done Daytona, Sebring, and COTA.
Yeah, so you have some experience in a car very similar to what we're going to be right now. I know that it's lighter, it's got bigger tires. There's a lot of differences, but I think it's going to be more similar than you think. I really think you'll adapt. Jimmy probably give you some good feedback on that because he's driven both.
Yeah, and I think you're going to have fun because when you mentioned that you get on the brakes and it doesn't happen as fast, it doesn't turn as good, it gives you more time and a little bit more freedom. And I think it's fun to be able to slide a car around as a race car driver and not have to exactly hit those lines perfect.
Yeah, I mean, the Garage 56 car is quicker than a GT3 car.
Wow, really?
Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of like 8 seconds quicker, I think, than a Cup car.
That's a big difference,
wow.
Yeah, so for me...
Even though it's on the same platform, it's a whole different animal.
So I laugh at how funny that is to drive in terms of how much you're sliding around. And yeah, I think it's 1,700 pounds of downforce. So it's a lot different. It looks the same, but it's very different. Otherwise, they wouldn't let me test Dakota. But no, it was a good experience. And it gets me used to having a roof over my head. And a few different things of where you can place the car, which is kind of a lot quicker.
So you mentioned you watched a lot of races. Who's like the one guy that you're like, I'm going to stay away from him? Who's that guy?
That's a bit unfair.
I'm getting you in trouble. Come on, man.
Again, Jamie.
Last year it was Ross Chastain, just so you know, you did not want to be near him.
Okay. Well, I would love to be
But he won a Dakota. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you'll be close to the front.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Who do I want to stay away from? I think Kimmy.
Yeah, he might be a good one to stay away from.
Jordan Taylor. He's my teammate in Garage 56. He's our coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, him. So no, I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing all these cars out on track.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my sort of karting days, where the action's so close. You know, in an F1 car, if you make an overtaking move, it's like, someone overtook.
Finally, a pass. Yeah.
How cool is that? And it is cool, and that's what makes F1 exciting in the way that it's difficult to overtake. But in NASCAR, it's just like action. You go through corners side by side where you just don't think it's possible.
It happens every lap.
Yeah, like turn 3 in COTA, you shouldn't be side by side, but they are. All the way through. It's really cool.
So recently, the big news last week is that Chase Elliott got hurt doing extracurricular activities, snowboarding, out in Colorado. And there's been this ongoing debate in NASCAR of should drivers be allowed to do these activities away from the track. What's that been like for you, like in F1 or other series? Were you allowed to do those things? Did they tell you no? Like, what's your take on that?
One of my contracts said I wasn't allowed to ride a motorbike.
Wow.
Which
so what'd you do? Just hang out in a padded room?
I survived. I survived. And then I wasn't allowed to ski on another contract. And then finally, when I got out of those contracts, I started going karting a lot more.
Yeah.
And I fractured my ribs and missed all of F1 winter testing.
Oh, my.
Like, right, I'm going to take a step back.
So now karting's off the table.
Yeah, but it's a tricky balance, isn't it? I mean, these guys love adrenaline. They love pushing it to the limit. So to limit them in everything they do it's tough. I mean, they give so much to the sport anyway.
Right.
You know, so many races. They need to go off and relax. And, but they also need to know if they go off and relax and they injure themselves.
Totally.
It's going to hurt.
You know the game. If you want to play it, you can play it. If not, don't.
It's a delicate balance for sure. We have plenty more with you coming up after